Hello. Happy Wednesday. I think it is. The only reason I know that is because when we do our roundtables. How is everyone? Back to StreamYard. The divine creator and all the blessings over the chat room and our beloved guests. I won't waste any time. Jen has to clean her blind as a bat utensils here. Watch my chair go. Okay, whatever. All right, guys. Open hearts and minds for today's part 2 roundtable of looking at Revelation and wherever Spirit takes us. It can be a touchy subject for some. We're just here to get you to think. Now, you don't have to believe it. If it doesn't resonate with you, no big deal. All right. Without further ado, let's bring the stars in here. I need to get one of them little sound buttons that has applause. What do you think?
Neptune?
There they are. Hi, guys.
Which star am I?
You're a Palladian.
Syrian.
You're Syrian?
Don't be so serious.
You were just a great combination of all of them.
Trouble.
What?
Hey,
Yep.
It does exist. I love you, buddy.
Huh?
He just got home. He's had a busy morning. Let's just put it this way. I
You
can't
guys-
Yeah.
drive me crazy.
I was going to do it.
He's had to deal
Yeah,
with
probably at noon.
Can you guys hear me? Because I'm in a different location.
Yes,
Yeah, you're a little low, but you're okay.
Okay.
undisclosed location.
I wanted to look smart. I got a chalkboard with no chalk. Yay.
Nice.
Hey, I've got white markers for you, whiteboard markers for you if you
No
want them.
whiteboard. Let me just go.
I'm just gonna write
Yeah, I was
with her
going to say,
fingernails.
when you hit a 3D question, just run your nails down the chalkboard for me.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. All right, guys. Are your brains fried again or
Mine's over medium.
over medium? Okay.
I
right.
focused on one thing out of
Okay.
Revelation, so not so fried.
All right. All right. Well, of course, this is. Let me get all of my materials out of the way here. I wanted to start out with, I know we all go in different directions, but we talked last week about the horsemen. And I want to start out there of understanding what the horsemen might actually represent, because there's lots of different theories out there. But before we do, Nadia, tell us what you saw yesterday, and we're going to pull cards on that because it was very, very interesting.
Well, I was spiritually led to look at the clouds. And when I looked at the clouds, of course, yesterday was amazing. Everything was puffy, white, beautiful clouds. But one cloud was dark, and it was the shape of a horse, which is like a black horse. That was about 4:30 in the afternoon.
Key, awesome, eerie music.
Okay, so no, you got to go dun 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 like this. Star Wars. Okay, and then close to 7:00, as I was driving in a different location, 45 minutes away from that location, look at the clouds again, and there is another dark horse, black horse. And now we're talking Revelations. I'm wondering if that is revealing the black horse.
So is that how we're going to see it? That's how I wanted to start. I'm going to pull cards to ask Spirit why she saw what she saw. It just happens that go ahead, Dennis.
I'm a bit curious as to the whole book of Revelation in the Bible, as to which are symbology, which are allegory, and which are actual literal.
Exactly. All right. So we could also be, Spirit wants to explain if it's just a symbol. They're just trying to get Nadia's attention. Should we really pay attention to her, or was it just, do we really believe in coinky dinks? So that's what I'm going to pull cards on.
No
While you
quinky
guys-
dinks.
No coinky dinks.
Did anybody
Take our
happen to
shot.
see my name today?
Yes, I did.
Oh
It's
my
right
God.
there. It says Nadia.
What?
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God.
It's Magog.
It's oh my God. It's Nadia.
Oh my God.
Go Gam.
All right.
God.
So we're going to ask Spirit about this. Thanks, Wings. Thanks a lot.
And
It's a
the hair
little
is
base
getting
card.
cut.
Look at the
Sorry.
base card on that.
What?
The black horse.
It's a black horse.
No
Black horsey.
quinky dinks.
No. Okay. Funny. Aha. Spirit, you're so funny. All right. So I get that it's a representation, though. We start out with the Seven of Wands, and that means defending yourself. Okay. So let's continue further with the Page of Swords. Now he is starting fresh with learning new truth. Okay. So we may just be getting into you're about to find out what the horsey means. The Chariot comes in here, major arcana card, and he's always about pushing forward, advancing quickly, and overcoming adversity. So I'm thinking this is going to be part of our learning today. We don't have to just stick with the horsies today, but speaking of horsies, I first pulled this and they said, let's do the white one first.
Hey.
Well, all right. But he's just a warrior, and that's fighting and pushing for truth. So it doesn't really clearly say what it represents. It just says you're about to find out. This is your learning process. And like I said, the base card on that was the Knight of Pentacles, which is the black horse. So, and Nadia, I did go back and look at the order of the colors of the horse.
Yeah.
If it represents what order they go in, I think it's white, red, black, and then pale.
Yes.
I do believe. So, Nadia, it
I
just
thought it was black,
lets you know
red,
that
white,
you're in the learning process. Your cloud.
What is it? It's a part of my
Your
learning.
cloud that you saw is just letting you know that Spirit's aware of your learning process.
Okay.
I don't think it's physical. Here's the black horse. It just happened to arrive.
So don't run and purchase White Cloud toilet paper.
No, I wouldn't worry about it. No.
There you go.
Well,
All right.
don't get brown cloud either.
Yeah.
It's recycled.
I got a quick question. I was referring to the horsies.
Uh-huh.
Do
Ponies.
the four horses represent the upper chakras?
Ooh.
Oh, the
You know, I'm not a chakra guy
Black.
either.
Black.
I
but
know.
I gotta ask the question.
White, red.
I got chills in my chakra from that question, Jay.
Thank
Oh,
you.
boy.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Which would mean that it's under
Well,
symbolism.
3 of the 4. There's no black chakra, is there?
Well, I'm saying the upper chakras, not looking at the colors, just representative. In
Energy.
other words, parable.
I would think it's
Horrible.
I would think it's the lower chakras. If you're going by 7 seals, I would think it's the lower chakras.
It's possible.
Okie dokie. Well, it's about enlightenment and spirituality, but it's independent of chakras.
Okay.
Interesting. So the Empress, she's independent. She stands beside herself. She's just alone by herself. She stands on her own 2 feet. So that tells me, nope, it has nothing to do with the chakras.
Bet she
It's
doesn't see the chakras.
it's its own particular energy. Okay. I do believe this has to do with enlightenment. And to be patient with yourself, because the Temperance card is here. It's of a divine nature. What are we doing? Hear no evil, see no evil. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is of a divine nature because that's an angel, but this is about enlightenment. Okay. Be patient with it. But this has to do with the frequency and where you stand in the collective. Remember how we talked about we are changing timelines? We can change the energy and the outcome of this. So if you stay really, really good and positive, then we change it. We may not have to deal with the horsies, maybe. I don't know.
There's
The
always
rest of the
hope.
world will.
Right.
Yeah. This is lean on your hoe. You're putting in the work. Now we wait and see. This is to see what manifests out of that planting. What's going to harvest out of it. Well, we can get into wheats and tares too, but yeah.
3 moments of lost time.
No. So the horse is the last one. Is that what you went? What'd you say?
Yeah,
I said three moments of lost time this morning today for me.
3.
3.
Don't have you calling me thinking you lost time, Jay.
Did you call?
Okay, they said look at the base card. It's very important.
I have an idea.
Horsey. Death. Pale horse.
White
Okay,
horse,
but
pale.
remember, it doesn't
That's
have
not
to
the
be a
pale.
physical death
That's the white. That's not the pale.
or the white horse. But it represents major changes, which is they're telling me you can change this. You do not have to follow what you're reading.
Oh yeah,
There's
This
always
can
hope.
be a great change.
not at all. Not at all.
Wow. They said pay attention to the picture. And I normally do. Overcoming. Okay. We have the key to this. So we have a key. We have a spiritual leader moving past the spiritual leaders that we've been listening to. Of course, I think that's important. And then the face of the rider of this, I don't know if you can see that. It's a skeleton.
Nice.
And the rider was death, or no. Was it the rider is death and hell followed with him? Is that?
Yes.
That's that horse, yep.
I'll be right back. I'm starting to get bombarded. Hold on.
Okay.
They didn't like that answer.
Left and right.
Wow.
I don't know
yeah,
if that's about his dogs or what.
Well, either he was deaf or he had a really good sense of smell. Jay just left.
all right. So yeah, we can definitely change. They said look at the other horse card underneath that one, and that's just having the passion and desire to overcome that adversity. So as far as Jay's concerned and his question, I do not get chakra related. It stands on its own. But we as a collective are in charge of what it can represent, basically.
Well, I mean, what
Yeah.
if you want to really stretch the connection, you doing your work, not having fear, getting higher in enlightenment, of course you're going to change
Right.
your views of the revelation. But in the connection, getting yourself balanced, and we're going to say that word again, balanced, will get you out of that fear of revelation.
Well, let's remember these two cards set side by side. Temperance is about finding balance in itself, because she's holding 2 cups, trying to balance herself out, and it's about spirituality and having patience. And it sat beside the collective card.
Mm-hmm.
So you are correct. If we as the collective and people can find balance in our spirituality and raise our frequency, we no longer look at Revelation like a fear-mongering book.
Right.
I see hope.
Yeah, I see hope.
Oh yeah, I see.
I don't see Revelations as doom and gloom. I see it as
You choose your own path.
right. it is
Exactly.
a personal journey.
Well, I mean, the purpose
Right.
of taking out certain parts of the book and embellishing the other parts to keep you in fear. And
Yeah.
here's one thing that I saw in the Quran. So I was studying other sections because I knew you guys had covered the Bible itself. Well, when they start
Right.
talking about Gog and Magog and all end of times,
Bless you.
it says, thank you. It says, fear your Lord. Why would you fear your Lord? So,
Yeah.
I mean, they had a lot of
But
good.
I don't think, sorry to interrupt you, I don't think that it's meant for us to fear our Lord. I think it's the enemy should fear the Lord. So if we talk about that sneeze
right.
group, we're talking, the elite, I'll say it, the cabal, they're
Excuse
the
me.
ones that should fear that day.
So it's the people who
Does
are
that
not
make sense?
prepared. The people who are not prepared should fear your Lord. Or
Yeah, or if you've gone against like crimes against humanity, if you've committed those,
Mhm.
like look at our governments and things like that. If you've gone against God's people, which is all of us, and of the divine, if you go against that, they're the ones that should fear the Lord.
Mhm.
Because I think vengeance is mine, says the Lord. He is going to avenge his children, his people, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one
So
who
I
will
don't think
cast
it's
judgment.
us that we should fear him. I look at my creator as a very loving creator and Jesus as my brother and best friend. So it's something I had to learn into.
Yeah, I
I
know,
had to
but
grow.
let's say like this. It's not those people that are going to be following the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, whatever. It's the simple people who have their faith in those books.
Yeah.
And fear your Lord means to lower your frequency in which they will win.
True.
I think it could be metaphoric on either way, symbolic of many things. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you lower your frequency, then there is no victory.
I just think there's different meanings for different people. I think it depends on who you are.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If we stay of the positive and then of the divine, I don't think we should worry about it.
I'm not worried. I just I'm trying to interpret it in
Yeah.
in ways that maybe somebody else didn't interpret.
If you happen to hear a turkey type call, that's the big head. He's over there whining right now.
Uh-oh.
I'm expecting the. It's like him pouting.
Well, you know what? We give turkeys around here. We sage them. So it's that.
Yeah. He was blowing me up already, so I just put him over on the other side. Like, nope, it's done.
Well, wherever you guys want to begin, it's okay. I just wanted to tell you, my rabbit hole went down the Gnostic points of view with the Gospel of Paul, even Magdalene, Mary, all of that. I also went down the Quran, the Islamic view, and I also went down the Anunnaki point of view.
Yeah.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, me and Nutty had a pretty cool conversation on that.
Yeah, the one he lost his 3 minutes at.
Mm-hmm. Did you call? I'm sorry.
Losing. Dennis, are you back with us, honey? You were frozen, unless it's just my end.
He looks frozen.
He looks frozen.
But he's really good at it if he's not.
I know he is good at it. Well, when we get him back, I'm curious to know what he thinks too. I also I've always tried to understand Revelation by going back and look at the Old Testament and like the book of Daniel, Joel,
Right.
to really understand them and have somebody help you pick them apart. Now, this is just based on what we have in the canonized books. But you could bring the uncanonized and all the ones that were forbidden from us too. But I just wanted to clear up the horsey thing, that I think it's probably symbolic and it depends on who you are and how you perceive things, your perception of it. So, all right, I'll let you guys pick the next topic. And if we come back to the horses, that's fine.
Well, I just want to say I kind of focused on actually one thing this time around. I was just kind of drawn to it. and we can get into it afterwards. But I focused on the two witnesses in Revelation. Uh, there's a couple rabbit holes, but they kept forcing it back, and also the book of Enoch again. But the two witnesses in Revelation, we don't know who they are. Everyone has their thoughts on who they would be. I went down a couple cool rabbit holes with it. But one of the things that I think what the two witnesses kind of represent within the book of Revelations, if this is the seals, the cups, the trumpets, the thunders, those all could be explained away from man. In other words, this is this is that, this is this. But when those two witnesses hit the ground running for 1,250 days,
Right.
one, they have a small following, but they're also going to be hated by the majority regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But in the two witnesses, they eventually are killed by the AC, the anti.
Yeah.
And when they're risen in 3 days and taken up to heaven, that is the ultimate oh shit moment. We screwed up, and that's when the battle changes in many aspects of it, and that's where the AC gets much harder because he knows people are starting to understand. But anyway, that like I said, I was drawn towards that. That's just
chapter
where
11.
I'm going to go.
Chapter 11 in Revelation is very interesting because you're still once again asking, is this symbolic?
Mhm.
But if God gives the two witnesses the power to breathe fire out of their mouth and do these different things, what part of those major miraculous things would go over people's heads? Would they just assume it's black magic?
Technology.
I mean, do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about this? Let's desensitize everybody by watching movies so they don't realize that the difference between reality and what they're watching.
Right. Could they be looked at as supervillains?
Exactly.
Because they are hated. Here's one of the things I wanted to ask you, Jen, about the two witnesses. There was kind of it's in Revelations, okay, and the two witnesses, and let's just take that kind of term, to witness, for everyone, to witness, because everyone will see, and it's in Revelations to realize. So welcome back. One of the things that caught my attention is God gives them full authority, and the two witnesses shut down the heavens.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about
Rain.
rapture, everything, rain, they're making the calls, but they're the embodiment of the saints and also Yeshua. That was interesting. And everyone wants to say, who are the two witnesses? When stuff like that happens, does it really matter? But one of the neat things I got, and maybe you can confirm this for me, is it was almost like, okay, the two witnesses seem to be a walk-in. In other words, okay, when I at one point was looking at the AC, I was asking about all the world leaders, and I was getting yeses to all of them because I think anyone can be through that spirit.
Yeah, that's why I said it's the spirit. Yeah.
Right. Now, I think with the two witnesses, I think there has to be an open door. Like, in other words, I almost felt that there's a possibility these two witnesses may have had to have like an NDE or died to have opened a doorway and to let the witnesses in, to let the spirits in of the saints and Yeshua. How did they get in there? If it's the embodiment, is how the language looks, it's the embodiment of the spirits and Jesus. That's a whole lot of power for any human body to handle. So this almost feels like they're going to embody it. So it means that they got to walk in, or I don't think they're just going to choose a body and go, let's raise this one up. It just feels like there's a walk in this to me. So what do your cards get on that? Dennis, do you think the two witnesses could have an open door and like
they could, and they could have though a couple of those that are walking around without a soul.
Or
they can
they have the
walk in
DNA
on.
to handle it. Yeah, there's a lot of realms on this.
Well, here,
Yeah.
at first I thought it was going to be Enki and Enlil. They come back around every 3,600 years or so.
Right.
But when you mentioned open door, what came in my mind was once everything sets in motion, the wall between humans and Gog Magog comes in. Is Gog Magog the witness?
Right. Shit just got real.
Shit just got real.
Exactly.
And,
I don't know if
it,
Enki and Enlil, because those two were always at odds with each other, even though they were
they're brothers. They're brothers, but they were here. Okay, so what I saw at the end of the movie, I watched the Anunnaki movie, which was pretty interesting, but
Shocked face.
the father comes back. The father comes back anew, and they found out there was a message. This is what's really cool about it. There was a message that was given to Enki and Enlil to preserve humans again, and the message came from a messenger, and there was a denial that nobody knows how the message came, and it ended up it was divine supreme source.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Wow, it's the Cabal?
Out of nowhere.
Oh. The spirit gets really strong and I will sneeze. Sorry.
All right. So they found out that it was Source, God, who said to stop all war and wages and all of that stuff. So even the Anunnakis have to honor Source.
Okay. Jen, what'd you get on that? Anything? What'd you pull?
Well, I will tell you this. They're not too keen. The creator's not too keen on revealing all the secrets here.
Agreed.
Right.
Because this is a multiple choice. There's lots of different options. Okay. And it has to be done very strategically.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the simple fact that the creator won't interfere with the free will of man.
Right.
So those choices could change. Now, the reason I say that is because there is great intention there to have it be someone in the collective spiritual group, if that makes sense. Okay.
They would have to be of some type of, you would think, of some type of
someone
service.
that's really in tune with spirit, even on levels that we're not. I mean, absolutely. This is the strength card. This is somebody who really, really has the strength to identify with spirit close to his level, basically. Do his bidding and will, but he can't, with that strategy card, he has multiple choices that he can choose from, but it's based on what we're doing in the collective. But I do get, it will be of his divine people, and he will use them. It will come in and their spirit will be manifest, because that's a manifester.
Another horse.
Yeah, another horse. And then the final card on that is we have to wait to see how it's manifested. But it will be obvious to his children. Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
So the options are still open based on how our free will is going to be used. But the spirit of the two witnesses, I believe, will come from our spiritual group. That doesn't mean if you're in the chat room, you're it. You might be. But
someone of
a
vibration.
Yeah. Very divine.
Yeah.
Do the Oprah, Jen. You could be it, and you
could be it.
You get divine dwelling. Well, okay. Just how about let's just do a yes or no question.
Okay.
Okay. No, that's not going to be yes or no. And he's not going to give that up. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh, that's right. Just bring it to the edge and just take it away.
Soul crusher.
All right.
On next week's program.
All right. I do have something.
Stay tuned.
Okay. Okay, these two are obviously, and it says in the Revelations they are anointed.
Yes.
Okay, so can
Right.
we ask, were they anointed? Two questions: were they anointed prior to coming on this earth plane, or were they anointed after they came on this earth plane?
For maybe things they did after they got here.
Possibly.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Unfortunately, this is one of the few things in the Bible that is twos. So
Yeah.
two candlesticks, two olive
The
trees.
lampstands and the olive trees,
Right.
of course, I believe is the symbolism behind it, which always leads me back to astrology as well, because we established that. But all right, let's ask, were these two established before they came down here on this go around?
And see if we get a note of that, or if it comes after. I have, then my mind goes 20 other questions, which I'm not going to go to.
Yeah.
They got anointed before they came.
So then that would mean it was a soul contract,
Mm-hmm.
for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that.
Well, I'm sorry, but you're wrong.
Oh, we got 20 questions now.
Okay, it's all right.
Tiebreaker.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
Go ahead.
We well, we don't need to split hairs. We'll just agree to disagree. That's all
We're
right.
allowed to disagree.
Hang on a minute.
We're allowed to disagree.
Well, could it be anointed in a different way? I wasn't one anointed by water, another anointed by the Holy Spirit. Could the anointment be a different way?
Let's see what Jen got.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'm going to show you the cards, but what if Dennis is representing one and I'm representing one? There's two of them.
Exactly.
What if one was
There you
picked,
go.
but the other one wasn't? And then we can both say that we're both right. All right.
I got a yes, but it felt like felt like it had two sides.
Yeah, it's the front and the back.
Okay.
Three if you count the side.
Enter,
Top and the
exit.
bottom. Okay.
Left and right. Add it up.
So the one that I'm focusing on is the one that is here, and it's based on their life and what they've gone through and how that's
Okay.
going to be waged. They will be weighed because someone who has really, really been through some crap. All right, and basically, I guess I don't want to say earned their spot, but really, truly has grown.
Let's just say found favor. Found favor through spirit.
So
Down
far,
there.
everybody in the chat is a candidate. Okay, let's go.
Except my
Okay.
hair.
No, I mean everybody in the live chat too. Go ahead.
Somebody that feels beat down, worn out, but is still a warrior and pushes through, but still carries a lot of burden, has wrapped up their burden and realized that there's a greater thing to look at. There's hope. This is hope and wish card. Okay.
Mm.
And then their spirit will be weighed and judged. That's justice. And they will be chosen from that.
Okay.
So the one that I'm voting, the final card is the 10 of Cups, that someone knows that they absolutely know they're going to have victory, because this card leads to this card.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Those are nice.
Well, if you're planning a trip overseas at some point in the next 42 months, just saying.
Overseas.
Magog, it kind of happens towards the Holy Land. We don't know that for sure, but yes, there is heavy indication that it happens over there.
After the continents reattach themselves.
Well, let me ask this question. Jen, are you done pulling cards?
Yeah, I'm just shuffling.
Well, they said there's a wall built between us and them. It's an invisible wall. However, could it be the Great Wall of China?
Visible wall, Great Wall of China. Could be above the wall also, or before, after the wall, and yet they built the wall beside it. I like that's cool. Okay, hush. Enough.
Aye.
Big sissy.
Well, thanks.
He is. He's a big goober.
At least we know that you're talking to the dog.
Listen, that's Nick Schneider there. He's not with me yet, by the way.
As long as it wasn't your wife that you were referring to.
I don't think you're going to get a whole lot on this, Jen. It just feels like we're not supposed to know.
Well, the first card's going,
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, this is, I'm not sure about the Great Wall of China, because this is independent. No, separated from that.
Okay. I'm just thinking it's going to come from, is it from the east to the west?
It comes from the east.
What, the
supposedly.
Gog and Magog?
Yeah.
Yeah. East to the west.
East.
They cross the Euphrates from the east.
You're left. You're left.
You're
To the left. To the left.
To the left, to the left. Yeah. From the east. You see the pyramids in the background?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
thought those are sand dunes. Oh, never mind.
Oh, well, excuse me. I
Someone
said,
typing.
so I specifically asked, does it come from the east? Yep, absolutely. As two major arcana cards. Absolutely from the east. So I don't get the Great Wall, even though the Great Wall of China is in the east, but no. Nope.
Okay,
not
Dennis. Well, then let's go towards Dennis, where he went on the revelations on his journey, and then we'll try and tie them all together. And where you went, Jen?
Yeah.
Well, the four horses are not in the Essenes gospel,
Right. Well, and what you read.
or the two witnesses either, really, because
Yeah.
there's a lot that has not been, or is either missing, or they haven't been
haven't.
able to translate yet,
Or haven't been revealed.
or haven't been revealed.
Well, if you go back to the book of Daniel in the Old Testament, the Lord supposedly told him to seal up the last part until the end days.
Yep.
Do we know that it's been unsealed?
Not to my knowledge.
And does that refer to the things that they're pulling out of the Vatican?
I would assume so, because they've got everything there.
Yeah.
They got miles and miles of the library there.
Including the Library of Alexandria.
Yep. I believe that too. I don't
And
think it was lost.
And if the good guys are in possession of it, it's really just a matter of time before it's printed for the
Right.
masses and we get our hands on it. And if part of that is that last part of Daniel that was sealed up, once we read that, you could literally look at the calendar and start counting days.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. The Vatican, there's an underground connection from the Vatican to Jerusalem.
yes.
Yep.
1,500 miles, I believe.
You all conspiracy
And I don't
theorists.
think that's the only pathway.
Entertainment purposes only.
There's
No,
probably
it's not.
tunnels
It's not a
all
straight
over.
tunnel. It has different fingers that go out.
Yes.
in
The Hydra.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like that word.
It's just water.
Get your nuke
Water.
ready, Nadia.
What is it? New kid, I'm going to. Definitely will.
Ugh. Yeah. So, Dennis,
Shield
yours
will take care of it.
that the books that you've been reading don't mention the two witnesses. They don't mention the horses.
Right.
Which book?
So
Oh,
what
you're
would
welcome.
you say? What would you
The
say that they
gospel and
focus
peace.
on?
Huh?
What do they focus on more than anything?
Well, they've got the what I just read, the
The apocalypse part.
chapter 12 on the lady with the 12 stars above her head was actually Mother Nature. And
Okay.
Interesting.
then they went into where the angel has 1 foot in the sea and then 1 foot on land,
Hmm.
and the sea turned into slime. And in the slime were those that were warring against each other and scratching their eyes out, which means to me that they were getting tired of war and didn't want to see what was going on anymore. So it was either that or they're talking about those that are asleep. And John reaches down and starts pulling them up. And once they're out of the slime, they get rained on and get cleaned off, and they're awakened.
Okay.
Could
yeah, go ahead.
I have a question?
Mhm.
Could, because there seems to be a lot of symbolism in what we're going through, especially down in Revelations.
Mhm.
I just kind of got a thing, and I figured I'd ask: could Mother Nature be Sophia, symbolically, if you will?
Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Okay.
So, I mean, what does your pendulum say on that, Dennis? Or
It says keep on swinging.
Swing that about it.
Is Mother Nature Sophia?
at least in this context.
In this context, yes, it is. She is Sophia.
I got a yes.
I got a yes.
In some studies of Sophia, it was that she was the creator of the physical matter on Gaia.
Right. She is Mother Nature.
That is so
Yeah.
funny. During my studies in the Quran, he mentioned Ayah Sophia. So there's a chapter of Sophia in there that I have to look for. Wow, I guess that's next week.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you take 5 minutes now and go ahead and read that, and then come back to us, and
Let me bring it down spiritually.
we'll give you a grade.
There's more to it. There's secrets behind that.
Yeah,
Sophia
lots of secrets.
being Mother Nature.
That's
But
behind the veil.
the name Sophia, because that's what the energy that I was picking up and focusing on. There's a lot of sadness there.
Well, could it
Oh,
be?
yeah.
Isn't that your creator card also?
No. That's the Hermit. This is
sorry.
the Five of Cups. That's loss
Right.
and depression. Like something went wrong, something went haywire, and that
Man
it
went
brought
wrong.
loss.
Yeah, could it be that they created that robot Sophia?
Well, I always wondered that too. That was the first AI robot that they had, and they named her Sophia.
And by the way, she's a citizen.
Yeah, I know.
Tis you now.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think that's the taking
So
everybody
this
with
is
that name. Go ahead, Jen.
when we start out with Sophia and we talk about loss and surrendering, and it went haywire and just got really, really bad. But this is the outcome. It's reconciliation and moving out away of the troubled waters and making it all better. So cleaning it up and fixing it. But there's so much more to Sophia. There's too much hidden
Right.
there. But
Again, I just think it's another revelation, tying it back towards a parable. Everything seems to be a parable. Everything seems to be intertwined
yeah.
with other religions, with other books, holy books. It just apocryphas. There seems to be so much symbolism that everyone's got a little bit of the truth that we could just kind of cut those little pieces out that we need and paste here, paste here, paste here.
Well, once it does get cleaned up and reconciled, it'll be that way for generations to come, because that's the King of Pentacles, and he's generational, very powerful leader. So,
I just think that people are not ready to hear it yet. It's timing.
yeah,
But
it is.
don't you also feel that it's coming no matter what?
It is, but if it's at the wrong time and people are not ready to hear it.
You know how you just said that man went wrong, and that's where it all got screwed up.
Yeah.
Right.
the base card on that's the lovers, and that's the Garden of Eden.
It just, whether you look at the reset, Revelations, it just, in other words, it's not just a correction. It's a, no, this all got to stop. This is where it's going from here, and it leads to prosperity. But again, I mean, metaphorically, you could use it in the days we're living right now, even.
Okay, but you can also say we can probably understand that, but they're still dropping crap that should have been handed down to
3D,
everybody.
that's because people are so focused on the 3D world right now.
That's why they won't understand that. They won't even believe that because they're not even believing the other stuff that's so obvious.
No, a friend of mine were talking.
Go ahead, honey.
A friend of mine were talking, and you know, a lot of the truthers, if you will, out there, it's kind of like the new they. In other words, they're telling you all about the 3D. Pay attention to 3D. Don't pay attention to spirituality. Pay attention to going to work and who's to blame instead of seeking inner work. You know what I mean? Like the subliminals of every time you're talking about the 3D, you're missing the spirituality. You know, it was a good conversation. There was a lot of I understood it. You know, it just seemed like everything is they. You know,
Well,
like when they're living in the shadow, and when you put the glasses on, you see everything. That's
they're also doing it with the off-worlders.
Yeah,
them. It's they're doing it with the off-worlders too. Hey, look at this UFO.
Yeah.
Where?
Because where? Huh? What? And I'm like, I do all the time. I don't need to see it on the news because it takes away focus here, going within and working on yourself. Heaven forbid you do that.
Yeah, but also their agenda of the off-worlders is not a positive. It's to, hey, this is our new way of getting everybody in the house because these may be dangerous.
It's like I said, it's fear.
It's fear.
Be scared. They're coming to blow up the world. You've seen Independence Day. It's coming.
Yeah, hide in your houses because they can't get in your houses.
Right. There's smoke outside. Okay, let me have one final question kind of towards Jen here, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Are all these different things, spirituality, 3D, government, spirit, okay, you know, we have multiple things that are distracting us from going inside, not so much the spirituality, but then again, there's the people that I'm doing my spirituality work, but I'm not, you know what I mean? But what I'm getting at is this all of it tied together for those to just kind of realize that how do I say this? In other words, everything's a distraction, but yet I think the final is complete discernment. In other words, understanding that this is really where I shouldn't be looking, but we need all these distractions to kind of come down to go, no, I'm done with this. This is nothing but distraction.
I think you're right. I'll pull cards on it, but I think especially
I don't know how to word it.
The last couple of years, they have really pushed everything at one time, and it woke a lot of people up. Like
galactic, truther,
people just
spiritual.
They just don't believe it.
Right.
Like,
you have to pull back the veil and focus in on the spiritual.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is this for ultimate kind of like understanding, wisdom, discernment?
Well, I don't know how you can break away from the confusion that they're sending you unless you focus truly on what's most important.
Well, I agree, but like for instance, I don't do 3D things well.
I don't either.
Okay, I've given up that.
Yeah.
I still think there's something a little bit to the galactic, but I'm not thoroughly convinced. But I think it's tied together. But certain things I hear is like and the government's going, yes, we kind of had UFOs again, trying to bring it back into the galactic. You see, Anyway, I don't know how to word it.
Well, here's another distraction. I mean, I'm. Everybody has their views of the 10 days of darkness or 3 days of darkness, right? And I believe it's within is the darkness, within yourself. But if you don't have TV, you don't have phones as a distraction. You gotta look within yourself. But
Right.
I can't meditate
Right.
for 5 minutes, but I can watch a hour-long movie.
Mhm. And just with the fact of you okay, not to knock the gender people out there that think they are, but you can be any gender you want. Again, it can change daily. Is again, just everything seems to be distraction. They want you to be anything but you, and
Yeah.
they want you to do anything other than going inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I mean, if it comes to breaking down electronics or communication, just so you can look within, that might have to happen.
So I pulled 4 cards to figure out basically their agenda. What is the purpose of this? What showing UFOs or showing people burning down cities or whatever? It's what is it? What does it mean? Well, this is about exposure to truth because that's the Knight of Swords. That's the good guys. That's a white hat card if you believe in the white hats and the good agenda. To really separate, I keep going back to wheats and tares, wheats and tares, wheats and tares.
Oh yeah.
To bring humanity together. They're going to fight for all of humanity. And if you are good, and this is for spirituality, you're either going to focus on it or you're going to be in this category. Distracted by this guy. And which you've got to choose. What are you going to do? Is it about humanity or is it about this guy? But it's also you've got to go within. You can't help humanity if you can't figure this out.
Yeah.
You could, I guess, in a 3D sense, you could throw them cash or whatever and do that. But I think,
are you really helping humanity when you just throw them cash?
Yeah. I think we have to help spiritually. I mean, throwing cash is great. That's fine. But I think we have to, like what we're doing now is just we're not here to cram information down people's throats.
We're just trying to make people
get you
think.
thinking. Focus on some spirituality stuff and ask questions.
Or do I really need that in my life? Or
well, not just that. If you focus on yourself spirituality wise, and you're raising your frequency out of fear, and your spirituality goes up to love, you hopefully can manifest the money for humanity. I mean, you don't have to be stuck in a 3D world to say, I need to work. Once you start getting up there, that's when the universe hears you and knows what type of frequency you're in.
So they said pull 2 more, 1 for each side. And so for the good positive side, for the humanitarian side, this is the card I pulled. That's the 8 of Cups. You learn to walk away from things that do not emotionally serve you anymore. It doesn't do you any good to do it, especially like the 3D stuff. If it gets you upset or gets fear in your heart, you learn to walk away. Mm-hmm. The other side, if you stick with the distractions of the darkness, your whole world is going to change and flip upside down with chaos. Mm-hmm. And if that's the frequency and energy you want to stay in, then like I said, you do you, boo. You're going to decide to do it. But in the meantime, the base card on that is it will cause inner conflict. Not only are you fighting with yourself of which direction you want to go, but it's going to cause, I guess, conflict maybe within families or friends or communities. It could cause a lot of conflict. But it's going to happen. You just have to keep you're responsible for yourself in a high vibration and frequency. So we just continue to not.
I mean, even think of ascension and rapture as going home, okay? And for lack of a better, going inside is no different. Going home, like being close to home, focusing on self. Not a metaphor. It just seems like anytime you look anymore, it's a metaphor. Think about it.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Sorry, Jen. It's so funny, the image that just came in my head. As you work within yourself and you're going through Christ consciousness through the connection to the divine, your spiritual cord gets bigger.
Mhm.
Somehow that image came up like, is it Star Trek that you got beamed up? That light?
Oh yeah.
It's almost like that's what I'm seeing. Once your spiritual cord okay, that one's going through the rapture.
Check.
Well,
check.
you can't do that
We got
until
one. Bring
Scotty's
'em up.
ready,
Well,
and he has enough to lithium crystals.
should I disappear? But I mean, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing as you're doing the work, as
Yeah.
you're connected, that's probably the marker. Like, okay, there's one that's coming up
Mhm.
of
Well,
ascension.
like Jay said, if you look at the ascension as going home, why not speed up the process?
Yeah.
Go within and just, get yourself higher and poof, I'm out of here, and not even won't have to blow anybody up. So
I'll be down here. I'll finish it up. So, Jen, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
well, I had a question about the two witnesses when we were talking about. Dennis says that they're not even in the books he's reading.
Mhm.
But things like the two witnesses, is that before or after ascension?
It's not clear. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if they don't really have a huge fan base, that's kind of hard to believe, because there's quite a few of us that would definitely take a listen to them.
Right. That's pre-trib, post-trib, the whole bit.
Yeah.
And I honestly think I have actually asked that, and I've gotten two different answers. And I
Mhm.
just think, again, it's just not for us to know. We can
Yeah.
argue about if you tie it to the Bible, pre-trib, post-trib. If you tie it to ascension, you have to be at a certain frequency.
Yeah, I'm
Again,
getting
get?
timeline.
Yeah,
Well, what if they're all correct? It just depends on you.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure.
I mean, we're just trying to spark the thought, like we're look what we just hit right there. We hit all kind of points. Boom, boom,
I don't
boom,
know
you
if this ties in or anything, but before the show, I kept getting 555.
Okay, bingo.
Okay.
It's changes. Things have to
Yeah.
change. Yeah. It's the angel number of changes. Yeah, that's nice.
Well, I would say humanity has to change, period.
So did you get a clean pair of underwear, Dennis, or?
Or just brown ones.
That's what that was.
It's in my glove box.
Have a paper towel holder. Flip-
Had to go out and get the satin shorts.
Wow.
Well, couldn't that also? I mean, that could represent so many things. Just, I mean, okay, what we're doing, and this seems like a personal journey for just like when we did Dome of the Rock. Revelations is a personal journey for each individual. It seems what you're focused on, but the common core is we're all thinking.
Yeah.
We're all thinking.
Well, okay, speaking of thinking, I did go through the Gnostic book and then the Gospel of Paul.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's written like this in the Bible, not sure. But they went through I think it was Paul who went through the 3 of the 10 veils, which last time you guys spoke about the 10 veils. And three heavens, I guess, not veils, I'm sorry. Is it veils? 3 heavens is normal, and the 4th heaven is a man standing there, and the 7th heaven, his garment was white, a throne brighter than the sun by 7 times, and the 10th heaven meets his fellow spirits. Now, are the veils considered densities?
Okay.
Because I found that interesting. Was it Friday that you guys said 5 and then 5?
Yep.
That was pretty interesting.
Yes. That's a portal
yes.
card density.
I got a yes also.
Yep, that's 3
Absolutely.
yeses.
Yep. Put them all together. It's just.
It's
If you-
333.
Did you add 10?
Just add a
Or
0.
9.
They're all tied together.
Mhm.
Absolutely all tied together. They're all linked. It's all the same thing. So veil, density, it's the same thing. So peel back the curtain. You can call it a curtain if you want to, spiritual curtain.
Veil curtain, yeah.
So when they were in the holiest of holies and they had that veil and curtain up to cover up the Ark of the Covenant, was it a physical curtain or was there an actual spiritual veil in front of it?
Want to ask that?
Well, I thought like when they each veil, you couldn't see the veil ahead of you. So was it of a different realm or dimension? See, because I was under the understanding that fifth dimension is when you break the veil of this earth plane. And now you've got the other.
Yeah, or outside the matrix, because the matrix would be under that category as well.
Yeah.
I got 3 answers to your 2 parts.
Wow, that's some odd math, but
I
okay.
wasn't even counting, so I got to even try to.
I had to throw that in there in case Tanner wanted to add
3,
it to
3, and 3.
330, 333.
Wow, nice. Ascended Masters are with you guys. That's beautiful.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to do both of you guys.
I know.
Woo!
Okay, so as far as just asking if it was a physical or a spiritual, I got spiritual.
Be back.
I got totally spiritual. The first card was our creator card. That is having access to him, because his spirit was in that covenant. But temperance says it all. That based on your temperance, this is angelically protected, guarded, because this guy comes in here. This is guarding truth. And you had to be a real special person to go beyond that, because that's the sun card. That is so powerful that we talk about blindness and all the things about the Ark of the Covenant. That is such a powerful thing. No human could withstand it. It has to be angelically protected.
So
What do you
that's
get?
the 3 answers I got was, okay, now we have to think of this in perception. While you didn't get a physical veil, I did. Okay, okay. Now I'm going by perception. In other words, I'm not supposed to be in there. So even though it's not a veil, you're not supposed to go in there. Then I got a spiritual veil. Yes. And then I got, are there some that could go see, in other words, they wouldn't see either one of them. In other words, focus key. Are there veils? Yes, the veils could be, well, you say no, it's in a certain room. Then again, certain people aren't allowed to go in there. So that's a veil in itself.
True.
Then the spiritual veil, and then the third veil of not seeing any of them. In other words, very few of that. So that's how I got 3 answers on that.
So I know this probably doesn't mean anything, but are you saying the veils are like this, that you have to go through this way, or it doesn't matter, or is it like this?
It feels like this. That's the only thing I can tell you. It's that's why I said perception.
So it's the veil of the eye or the third eye.
Did you ever watch Get Smart at the beginning?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your veil.
I'm going to have to count how many doors there were if there were 10 doors. That's interesting.
And after you get through the 10th veil, then you get into the phone booth. Dial phone number.
You should go up, not down, though.
I keep getting spiritual worthiness, and I cannot figure out why.
Because you're the key.
Yeah, look at the keys down here.
You're the
You
key.
have to have the spiritual key, and you're judged
I
based
thought I
on
was
that.
one holding all the
Mhm.
keys.
Yes,
Well,
Mr. Janitor.
you lost a couple of them, Dennis. You got to stop sleeping, man.
Doggone it.
You know that couple hours
I've
of
been
sleep.
looking for those.
It's on my key ring now, but anyway. All right. So, boy, we're going all over the place, but that's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
let's bring it back.
Spirit led, guys.
Yeah, it is spirit led, and that's the way we want it. So now when it comes to the seals and trumpets and all that kind of stuff, do you guys feel that we're already through at least some of them?
I mean, we talked about this before. I mean,
Yeah.
every generation could have pinpointed certain ones,
Yeah.
and we're still going on, just like us. Where a lot of us are awakened, and we're like, "This is it," but what if it's not? You know?
But what if the seals and trumpets also change based on our frequency and our intention?
Okay, I agree.
That's what I was going to say. What if the seals, trumpets, and all those things are completely within? It's metaphorically.
Right.
What if it's all within yourself? What if it's all, even though we look at it as a physical manifestation, and these things have to happen, we're assuming that they're outside of us, not within us.
Right.
All right, so I'm just going to say on the little snippet that I got from the Quran, and then you guys go ahead and see if it matches yours. A powerful king will come. This is at the end when Gog Magog comes. Build a wall for the evil people to stay on that side. The trumpet will blow. That's what they said. The wall will be gone, having Gog Magog come and have this big giant wall. Earthquake will happen. That's on Judgment Day. People will act drunk. Mothers will neglect their nursing children, and that's when rapture starts.
That would be mid-trib.
Well, I'm just saying, this is the part that I got, and it said to fear your Lord.
So we still have fear.
Yeah.
Well, now fear is not necessarily just something that you're afraid of. Fear can also be in awe of.
Yeah, I can see that.
If you look up the definition, there's one where you're afraid of something, then the other one is you're in awe of something or someone.
Well, maybe you could fear that you didn't do enough before that time too.
One of the things I kind of, maybe it's not necessarily unrelated, but it is in a sense. Okay, when we talk about creation, we're kind of talking about revelations. Excuse me. We all seem to be. There's a time limit. It seems like there's a start, there's an end in every book, everything there.
7 years.
I found it interesting that the word creation pretty much means to create, okay, but to borrow. So creation is kind of borrowed. In other words, creation is only here for a limited time, and then it has to go back. I thought that was kind of neat that, you ever hear the expression, we're on borrowed time?
Yeah.
We really are.
Yeah. Well, have you ever heard the expression that there's multiple creations? It's been repeated over and over again.
Right. And well, that's just it. I mean, even most of the books say that the worlds in the heavens are destroyed and then they're brought back. It's a repeating cycle.
Well, even if you destroy the creation, you're creating a new creation. A destruction is also a creation.
Well, would we go back to what Nadia used as that reference of it folding in on itself and just keep coming out, and it just keeps like a recycling process?
Well, that's why I was very surprised with the Anunnakis. It seems like they're coming, creating, leaving, coming, destroying, leaving, and like in the Anunnaki book, and that's from the Sumerians. there was the flood. So they came, they created humans. Why did they create humans, by the way? Was to dig for gold. We were supposed to be slaves
Oh yeah.
because we
And
needed gold for their atmosphere. So
Yeah.
now they created humans. Humans stood up against them. They created the flood. I don't know. Oh,
well,
yeah.
it could be
Yeah.
yes, infinity.
Gotcha.
The Hindus call it a folding out of creation, and then they call it loosely the crunch, where it folds back in.
Yeah.
And it constantly goes out and constantly goes back in. That's no different than the thing. So there's so many. There's key points of similarity in just about everything. Whether it's just about the perception of how you perceive it. And I agree with Dennis. Ongoing infinity.
So if it's a constant repeat recycle, does the book of Revelation put the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, that no more, we're not doing this anymore? This is the final
This is
cycle.
the final one.
That's if we get to that point. I mean, if we're going downhill, I'm sure that's going to be final. But what if we do this? What if we're already in, like we mentioned before, we're like 2 densities down, okay? And we got the off-worlders at the one above us and the firmament, right?
Okay.
What if we change the frequency and love our neighbors, love everybody? What if we just move ourselves up? So now we're where the off-worlders are and there. Then we don't need revelation. We're not destroying.
True. Because we keep talking about once you, we talked about reincarnation and ending this soul contract and finishing up once and for all. That once we come here and learn what we knew, what we find out on Gaia it's a school. I look at Earth as a school.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you've mastered all of your lessons, can we finally say, I'm not going back down there?
Mhm.
I'm not doing it.
Right.
Because we can be standing in line. I'm pushing Nadia in front of me. She can go. She volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
You signed the paper. You know you did.
I actually kind of got a yes to that, but a little more involved. In other words, the final. It's a yes. So I'm wondering if it's a final, like you're saying for some.
Is it a yes in this?
And now Nadia's saying there's more to it. So it was a yes, but really they're a little bit quiet on me today here.
I think everything is dependent on what happens either within us or as a collective.
It's an individual thing, but it's also collective.
Yes, so I think everything varies on that. If the collective gets stronger, we're love and light, I don't think there needs to be a destruction. But if we're doing the power, the 13 families, hunger, famine, whatever.
Bless you.
Which is
I have been blessed so much on the show today.
Doom and gloom, fear mongering, that kind of stuff.
I mean, if that is it, just, you know what, get it over, start anew.
Yeah.
I guess when I was younger, I did fear, because I was told to, wonderful Catholics. But I realized, why would I be afraid of that? Thank you. Why would I be afraid of these things? And that's, you realize it's all based on fear. Yeah. But at the same time, I think there's some comfort in knowing that there is an end. Even if you multiply things out into multiple universes with multiple possibilities, at some point it comes to an end. There are no other possibilities left at some point.
We've learned all that we've learned. Well, we've learned all that we can learn. And I would assume at the very end, when we've done that, we probably all go back to the Creator. Reform.
Or a few at a time. Or God.
Yeah.
So
remerge.
I pulled cards on whether or not, do we get to end this once and for all kind of thing. And it says, yes, if we tread lightly with our emotions and get them in check, figure out what's important to us and what's not. When we ascend, all right, this is an optional thing for us. We chose to come here. It's not someone's bending and twisting your arm, you have to go back down there. We chose like, hey, I volunteer. We just don't remember that part.
Yeah. I want to go down the slide again.
Yeah.
Kicking my own butt at this point, going, what is wrong with you? So, but the idea.
Some of us are just glutton for punishment. That's all.
I know.
The
But
ride
reason-
was fun. It was just when we stopped, we were like, oh man, I'm here again.
Well, the choice that we come back down here is to fight for humanity.
Yes.
That is what we're doing. Because you love them so much that let me go back down. I'll whoop somebody's butt. You know, it's just that mentality. The base card on that is the world. You choose the world you live in, no matter what that is.
I love it so much. I keep coming back for more. Thank you, sir. Can I have another?
Yep. We have heard that term a lot lately. Okay.
You go right
Can
turn.
I have more soup, please?
If I turn glad.
Wow.
Poof and a puff of smoke.
Well, I mean, how many times have you heard, you were the lucky ones chosen to come down because so many people, so many souls were waiting to do what we're here to do.
Yeah, when they talk about the last generation or the last days or whatever, there is a certain amount of people that were selected to do it based on your warrior status or your spirituality or what you're capable of.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep thinking that Creator said, yeah, Jen, you can go. You have a huge mouth. Go ahead. So, whatever your blessings are,
The gifts.
you got chosen, your gifts, your blessings. So, yeah, I think that because there are just a certain amount of people here that are doing what we're doing. If you look at the overall population of Gaia right now, we are very small.
1 second.
All I know is I'm done cleaning floors.
Turn your keys in.
Tired of
I'm turning my keys in.
Is
No
there-
windows either.
Okay.
Dennis, I want to go back to something you said earlier when you were talking about, God, how did you word it? Now I don't remember. We were talking about the 10 or 12 stars.
Yeah.
I know you've heard of Melissa Red Pill in her
Yes.
books and stuff.
I don't
Yeah.
have that particular one, but I have one. Yes.
This is her second one that she did, and she keeps talking about the this is astronomy and the
Right.
constellations and that
Right.
kind of stuff.
It's
She's
that
also
one.
mentioned the crown of her
Right.
crown of the head is over. So could it be of the constellations? Because this is supposed to be based on Revelation 12 verses 1 and 2.
Well, they assume, I think, that the constellation in chapter 12, which is the one that you just showed,
Uh-huh.
is that of the Virgin Mary.
Which
but
is Virgo.
Right, but according to the Essenes Gospel of Peace and Love,
Mhm.
or Love and Peace, it's actually a depiction of Mother Earth.
Interesting.
The divine feminine.
Okay. Okay, well, when it talks about the sign of a woman in labor,
Mm.
instead of it going Leo, and what was it, Mercury or Jupiter? I don't know. It comes back into the womb of Virgo. So if we eliminate the constellation part and we're talking about Mother Gaia, if she's the woman in labor, could the labor pains and the anguish be the earthquakes and volcanoes and her rumbling and
Yeah.
fired
Yeah.
up kind of thing?
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Okay. All right.
Possibility.
All
Can't say
right.
that's actually the truth,
Yeah.
but that's another way of looking at it.
Okay. Interesting.
It
Okay.
is.
All right. Yeah, the Old Testament is full of all these prophets, but I take them now with a grain of salt because what has been added, what has been taken away.
Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
so hard to
You have
focus.
to learn to discern which is, and to do that you have to actually study and not
Yeah.
just take somebody's word for it.
Right. and that
Yeah.
means going down into
The
different
rabbit
territories,
holes.
other faiths, and rabbit holes, even the off-worlder
Right.
end of it. If you just,
Right.
and then you have to go within, definitely have to go within and say, does this
Definitely.
sit right with you? Because I don't know how many times I'd hit a wall, probably physically too, but when they went into the 12 tribes of Judah, I went, are we going to go back to just the Jewish people and limit it to them? Or are we talking about symbology here?
I'm thinking symbology.
100%.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Because the Jews that are in Jerusalem right now, I think the majority of them are not the real Jews.
Right.
that's
Well,
yeah.
we can talk about the Khazarians.
Bless
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the group leaders, I don't want to talk bad about the Jewish people themselves, whether you're Orthodox or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. But these groups, these
Yeah.
tribes.
Well, I mean, even if you look at what people consider royalty, way back as far as we can go, they were always concerned about the bloodlines, the Anunnaki, the Egyptians, everything. They were extremely concerned about bloodlines.
Keeping in the bloodline, yeah.
Mhm.
But also, you're looking at the 12 tribes of Israel, but that's not the only thing that was going around in the world. I mean, I'm sure it's not just based on that section. They had Egyptians, they had Greek, they had all these other people. So does that exclude them from
Right.
Revelations?
No,
Yeah.
not at all. But
And
every bit of symbology.
is there a lost tribe or a 13th tribe? Because I've heard that too.
Yeah, I think we actually answered a yes to that at one point.
Gosh, okay, I don't want to be dark.
I think it was the 13th tribe went to
13th tribe, 13th family.
Shambhala or Shambhala, like the 13th tribe. It's on that.
Oh yeah,
I think
we
that
did
was during Shambhala, I think.
Yeah, but you got 13 tribes, 13 families of the top leader of the
Yeah.
one. It's funny that the 13th one is from the Lee dynasty, not part of that whole section. So, and now you're saying there was the missing 13.
Mm.
It's just interesting how these two are relating.
And there's almost a symbology to the fact of, okay, in a couple of the different languages, they do these things come from the east. It's always from one particular side. Some pray to the east, some pray to the west. But at the same time, if you look at the world as it was that day, back then there was nothing west. Everything came from east. Again, symbolism, were these things all kind of twisted up with like, well, there's nothing west, so we're going to go east.
Didn't we mention before in another roundtable that the America was a mirror of what was happening in the east?
Yes.
We did talk about that.
Yes.
Can we see if something came from the United States, from the mirror image? If something was happening here during this biblical time of revelation?
You'd have to narrow that down for me to get something.
What is it?
You'd have to narrow that down for me to get something out of that.
I would think it would be, well, Native Americans have been around for
Exactly.
thousands of years, so the natives, I guess
So
you could.
the Hopi revelation, is it the same as the biblical revelation?
Right. And what we've understood is the Hopis are also related to the Aborigines, and they're all related to the Incas and the Mayans. They're all connected one way or another.
I still think they all came from Lemuria. All the spiritual.
I think they came from, I believe, wasn't Thoth who traveled there to give them that information?
Thoth traveled and taught the Incas. I know that.
What if the talk of 12 and 13 is nothing more than another divisional factor to jam into,
to separate, cause separation.
To separate again, yeah, to cause separation. Even though we get to a faithful level, of, oh, it was 12 tribes. Was it? They just have to
Divisible
divide
by
it,
three.
like they snuck in another division, but there was 12 tribes. Was there? Now we wonder if there's 13. Well, if there's 13, or is there more? Again, what's the truth? And it just seems more of a way to not solidify you in I don't know, heart,
Okay,
soul, something.
what is the purpose of separating them into 12 or 13 tribes? What was the purpose of it?
You're gonna have to ask Adam that. I don't know.
Adam.
Yeah,
Well,
he was-
Adam
he was-
hasn't had all of his DNA
I mean, was it
reconnected yet, so he doesn't know.
during the Moses
Yeah.
time when they separated, and what was the purpose of separating? It's not like a scary movie. Let's separate it.
We're talking about. Are we talking about Babel and this time of then, of when Babel, like the languages were separated, the nations
No,
were
it's
separate? Are we
the-
talking before that?
No,
No, I think they were during Moses'
when
time.
they
They went through.
made their first tabernacle
Okay.
is when they divided up.
Well,
the
I just want to
12
make sure,
tribes.
because there is an argument for Babel also. You know, the 12. Everyone separated the languages. Everyone spoke different languages. That was
Right.
transformed. Again, I always associate Bible with Babel. Also, it's just one little weird curve of a letter.
Yeah, I've heard that
That-
too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And that just to me means caution.
Yeah,
Take your
Nadia,
discernment.
I pulled cards on if America, well, the United States was a mirrored image of things going on during the biblical times. Yes, I got a huge yes. But Dennis has a point of what he said. Now I can tie them all together.
Okay.
So yes, this is a
Sweet.
mirror image. What was going on in one place is going on in another. But what was going on here was different. And he said Lemuria, I kept getting off-world or download, and I pulled the star card.
Mhm.
it's funny that you say
I
that.
believe the natives are actually Lemurian, off-world,
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call it. But yes.
Yeah,
And Babel was one of their Anunnaki's towers for one of the gods.
All right, I just get a sense of, okay, we're kind of going through a revelation. We're kind of going through an end time. It's just like we found out even with the insectoids, if you will.
Mhm.
They have
Yeah.
prophecy. They have. I don't think the off-worlders are any different. You know, it seems like all these prophecies, everything's connected. It all seems to be coming down to something. Even if you throw in the off-worlder card, they have to have beliefs. They have to have prophecies. They have to have similar things. So are they all? Is it just like a big string of shit out there?
Well,
that
how
they're
about
trying
if
to bring it all together into one?
did you
you know?
finish, Jen? Did you finish the card?
I have two more cards, and I
Okay.
can
God, I'm
list
sorry.
All right.
them.
I'll say-
It's okay.
bless you.
So
Rob.
here in the West, if you go based on being Lemurian or off-worlder, their gifts allowed them to ascend during the times of that Bible and those stories going on. They left. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't have natives still here and the spirit doesn't live on, but the group of people, that stuff would go on, but they had these secrets to ascension. So I think they had to leave.
All right. Now, another question I have is, so we all became reincarnated. So what if it was one reincarnation was Anunnaki, one reincarnation was the disciples, one in reincarnation was Gnostic? What if all this reincarnation happened until we get it right? Or you said insectoids, or you said, we've tried this so many times.
Well, it's not just that we haven't just tried it here on Gaia multiple times. I believe that we've been in other worlds multiple times. But what I've understood is that Gaia is the hardest college to go through. We are like in the honors class here.
Yeah.
You figure it out here, you graduated.
Yeah.
I have a
But
question when
agree.
you're done with your last part.
I think that you can absolutely come back in different forms.
Yeah, and I think that's why we keep coming back. We keep coming back as this or as that. That's why we have so many different rabbit holes of options. We've been there, we've been there, we've been there. We're just trying to
Yeah.
put it all together.
Well, the hardest part, from my understanding, is to be human in this realm because we have to deal with our emotions. We're very emotional creatures.
Yeah.
And that makes it very challenging because a lot of off-worlders don't have that.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not saying that. Don't cry, Dennis. It's okay.
He's got onions in front of him. It's the actor's technique.
Did you finish that? Did you finish your last card, Jen?
I'm finished, but
Okay.
yeah.
I have a question. This can be for the pendulum too. It feels like even the off-worlders have a tie to Shambhala.
Mhm.
Can we get a yes or no on that? We could look at Shambhala as heaven. We could look at it different ways. But
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It
right.
might not be the Middle Earth Shambhala.
But no, it feels like the same place. Maybe it's Shambhala in general. We just have to picture it a certain way. So do they.
Well,
But regardless, it's Shambhala.
what if it's Shambhala of a different density? Like we're in a matrix. Was that an insectoid?
Yes.
Uh-oh, his insectoid is coming out. No, but what if it's of a different density, just like us? We're
It
in
just
the
it feels like
I got
place.
yes to both.
Yeah, it just feels like
Yes, that it's off-worlder is tied to it, and yes, it's also heaven.
okay.
What was the last thing, Dennis? I didn't hear
yes,
you.
Heaven.
It's heaven.
And they need us to do it. They need us to get back.
That's right.
Absolutely. Wow, that's a definite yes. So the off-worlders
Get back
being in
to where you
Shambhala,
once
I'm tying
belonged.
it all together. A lot of them are not allowed to be here. We know that. This has brought them heartache and trouble, but you don't belong there. But they need us for their spirituality. They
I
need
sense a
our
road trip
gifts
coming.
and our humanitarian efforts and our emotions. They need an exchange of that energy. Wow. In order for them to ascend, to get beyond the veil and back to heaven. Yes. They need to learn from us just as much as I'm curious to learn from them too.
I don't know, unless it's.
Quit bringing snacks. Okay.
But are they on a different timeline, or are they just a density above us waiting to see what we have to do?
I think it's they're just an outer density. They're like fifth dimensional,
Perception.
beyond the matrix. They don't see any of that. They see what's being done to us, and it saddens them.
Yeah.
And that's why they really they can't interfere with us, but they
Right.
want to wake us up because they need us. They have to do it. The base card on that is the Wheel of Fortune. They need us to reverse the situation. That means our own situation to help their situation. It's give and take.
Whatever happens here affects the entire universe or galaxy.
Yes, it does.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why
Absolutely.
we sometimes get this as the final. Because
Because how many times in history, well, I mean, we haven't read all the books, obviously. I don't know, has this ever happened before? Is this the first time that all species, races, or beings have come together as a collective to work together to get out of this mess? Or is it one of those recycling things we keep doing over and over again?
Yeah, I got a green light on that. I got a yes on that into
On the recycling?
it.
Well, I can't see if it's over. I can't see other off-worlders cheering that on because their planet would be over also.
Yeah. Well,
I can't see that.
but I think they understand the greater. It's not about we're all going to die.
Well, the positive and negative densities that exist, some will choose to stay in the negative. They will always
Really?
be there, but they
I
also
gotta
need
find
the
them.
help of the humans
Mhm.
to get to the positive, even in their own world.
Hey,
Okay.
not to be a Debbie Downer, Jen, how is your time, dear? I don't know what you have scheduled for today.
Give it another 10 or 15 minutes, then we'll do oracles or so. Let's keep going
Okay,
for a
yeah,
few
I
more
just-
minutes. We've been
I
we've
wanted
been
to-
averaging.
Okay, so in that purpose, then the ascension is to start anew with the ascended and finish what chooses not to go through that? Is that what over means?
It just feels like completion.
Sounds redundant to me.
Well, if we talked about those that are on the negative and
on
stay
the-
there. We talked before and asked if they would have to keep
Dang.
reincarnating.
Yeah.
In the negative.
Mhm.
Are we voguing again? What are we doing?
I think he's trying to fly to the
Energy in.
I think my
Bringing the energy back.
you know how there's jazz hands, I have spiritual hands. Start talking. Instead of jazz hands, it's
Yeah, so,
La, 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 la.
Wow.
yeah, I mean it's like starting anew. Like we mentioned before.
I
Maybe-
knew.
Anew.
Actually,
that's
Nanu?
the Anunnaki father.
Nanu.
I
Anu.
knew that. Just I throw it out there.
Which is
Subliminal.
funny because the Anunnaki called Earth Ki. And if you look at Ki,
I got several keys, so I must have several Earths.
well, Ki, but energy in Chinese is Chi or Ki.
Gee, yeah.
Yeah, you could do it QI or CHI. So we're just
KHEE.
energy of we're an energy planet.
Yeah.
And is the energy done? Is the energy going to be done? And that's why we're going through this revelation.
Watch how you say that. We might get protesters protesting that it's fossil fuel somehow. Just be
Oh.
careful.
And then the keystone.
Yes,
Like-
exactly.
No, but I mean,
Wow.
I'm talking about frequency energy.
That's
Is
digging deep. Pun intended. Digging deep.
I'm pretty sure poor old guy is worn out and wants a break.
Yeah.
She wants her hoe back.
Mhm. What are you pulling on there, Jen? What are you playing around with?
She's
I'm
playing solitaire.
pulling, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Is this our final go around?
Hi,
Is
Libby.
this humanity's final go around? I really
On
wanted to
On this Gaia.
on this guy, this one.
Yeah.
Well, are we actually going to split? I mean, as far as new Earth and an old Earth?
I think it already has.
Two witnesses.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I still see 3D.
Ooh, that's a good
On
one,
this-
Jay.
Symbology. Or are we still
Her-
going to split? And I said two witnesses.
We
Symbolism again.
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I believe that the other guy is already here. It just depends if you choose to see her. I even took a picture of her. She is in our galaxy. Why do I keep thinking someone's standing behind me? Well, there are, but
There are.
that's beside the point. Okay. Is this our last go around on this Gaia? Yes. For humanitarian purposes, yes, absolutely. Spiritual balance, we need to go somewhere else. This is our last hurrah, hurrah. Okay. This is why we're putting in the work. All right. That's why we're doing this. That doesn't mean that this Gaia will just blow up and go away. It's just not meant for us to come back on it, if that makes sense. We will ascend. It has some great
I'm
advice.
assuming this
Please
is
stop worried about it.
the 3D Gaia. And
Yes.
those that ascend go into a new. I
Whether
don't know if it
you
would be
choose-
called Gaia or some other name, maybe Sophia. Who knows?
I think they already,
Nadia,
Wow.
maybe,
there
or
you go.
Jen.
That is,
I know
It
Gaia.
could be.
Well, I don't know her
oh,
person.
did you just say something about Narnia? Is that what you said?
I said
I thought you
Nadia.
said I said
Nadia.
Narnia.
I have not gone into the wardrobe yet.
He hasn't come out of the
Pronunciation.
closet.
We were
Pronunciation.
I
talking.
haven't even gone in the closet.
I don't know how we started the conversation the other day, but the littles we were talking about, they know what Narnia is, C.S. Lewis and stuff.
Yep.
And I think they were convinced that Nadia owns Narnia.
I do.
Boy, you go.
You
Wow.
do.
You're going to have some issues soon. We want to go to Narnia.
Can we go in Nadia's closet? So they would, Nadia, can we go in your closet? Yeah, they're like, go to Nadia. All right.
I can't
the
get
final-
I
them.
would like that.
I can send them Turkish Delight. We have some.
There you go. So the final two between the two Gaias, if you want to call them Gaia 1 and Gaia 2, however you want to do it, it'll be victory. And I get that's for us, but a great loss for those that will have to stay here. And that's why I always think instead of that fear mongering, if they've got all of those. Yeah, turn them in at the office on my way out. Oh, the base card on that's the Magician. Depends on your ascension level of where you go.
I'm done.
Just done.
All those heavy keys are holding you down, Dennis.
Yes, indeed.
Well, and we talked about not only the trumpets, the seals, and then the bowls. And then the bowls aren't supposed to happen until after the ascension, as far as we understand. That the bowls are the wrath of the Creator.
Right.
But there will still be some people here to have to go through that.
Well, depending upon the timeline. Yeah, there will be. Whoever's still in 3D will have to go through
Well,
it.
God help you. That would be motivation enough for me itself
Yeah.
to get out of 3D.
Okay, so my question, where did we say the rapture goes in this whole scenario? Or do we have to witness it all and then ascend?
I think it depends on your level of ascension and where you're at, because we can talk pre, mid, and post all you want to. I think it just
Right.
depends on your level.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
I've got the
So, you
keys.
know.
So that'd
I like
be nice to me.
Mhm.
I think the numbers would increase if you saw a bunch of people ascend the first time around and then go, wonder why they left. I think people would start studying and going within just a little bit more. I want to be on the next trip. It would just keep getting, because if they're going to have to go through all these horrible things, if you're still here.
Yeah.
Well, like Dennis said, it depends on the timeline.
Well,
As you can
you know
change
what's
it.
funny?
I would think that that's going to be plenty of motivation.
Well, it may take a while for some people that are still stuck in that 3D and not believing everything that they're seeing or hearing.
Yeah, Jay mentioned.
Well, and I believe.
Go ahead, Jen.
I said I think there's still some that will never ever wake up, ever.
No. But
I
Jay
mean, even
mentioned,
the scripture says that some will never.
They were not
Go
overcome.
ahead, Nadia.
no. I was just going to
On
bring
Narnia.
up. Well, Jay mentioned once that when the rapture comes and we disappear, does it take a while for them to realize we're gone? Or
I don't think so.
are they going to realize we're gone right away? And then, like I was saying in the
feels to
Quran,
me-
it says they're in a drunken state.
Yeah.
So are they blind?
That's why
Why people
it feels
disappear.
cloudy, like they don't realize it, and then all of a sudden, could be hours or days later, like,
Yeah.
hey, what's going on?
It
think that
depends on
energy
where. I
overpowers
think it
them.
depends on where the certain people that they're
Yeah.
looking for
And
are at the time.
like kind of a vision, like
Yeah.
like what they should be, if you will.
Well, if you look at
Still
those
for my red cape.
when Leahy and all that, they wrote those books, the Left Behind series and all that stuff, I don't think for 1 minute people are going to be driving down the road and all of a sudden they crash into somebody and it's just their clothes left behind. Then you're going to have a bunch of naked people running around. I mean, what? It just does not make any sense to me.
Well, where are they
Plane
going to
falling
put all the clothes once they get the robes put on?
There you go. Well, that's true. But I think if we don't take physical bodies with us, we just take our soul with us.
Exactly.
Maybe it's just going to
And
be
your
high
soul
levels
has
of
no
death.
gender.
Oh, what would I look like as an NPC?
I know, that's what I just thought about. Oh my God, it just came in my head. But what if those NPCs were already gone?
Well, what if we have an experience?
I'd feel really bad.
We ascend and a walk-in takes over our bodies and we become new people. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Well, you already said that reincarnation doesn't exist after this. So how can a soul come and invade if there's the heavens are closed?
If it's our last go around.
Yeah, it feels a little bit more to it, but yeah, you're onto something. I like the question, at least with the thought of it, thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, hush up, sissy.
Always a
Or
danger.
if it's just high levels of death, they'll try to blame it on some 3D disease
Exactly.
or something.
I think any of those things, any of those seals, they can all be blamed away on something. I really think the two witnesses, they can't touch. There is going to be no explanation for that whatsoever. And when they die and rise, that's the oh shit moment. Shit just got really real. Even though it was real before, shit just got real.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
The party's over.
If that's the timeline, if that is what actually happens.
Well, and if the witnesses are a thing, and it says that they can close up the heavens, it doesn't rain, they can breathe fire out of their mouth, is that symbolic? Is that just means that what they say is very passionate? Is that what that means? Or is it physical fire?
So
because
it's not CNN and Fox then.
Yeah, pretty sure.
If you think about Elijah didn't reign for him, I think it was 7 years in the Bible, and there's historical evidence to that. And he prayed for the rain, if you will. But yeah, there's a lot of historical evidence that it really didn't rain they won't give you 7 years, but they'll give you a drought of 3, of 2. They always downplay it, and they're trying to dig up like dust to see if it was wet back then.
Well, you could also go all the way back to when Joseph was storing up the storehouses, so that they would be prepared for the 7 years of famine, and the prophecy of the 2 cows. One lean and one fat. What, Nanya?
No. There's a prophecy in Hebrew of a white cow. They have to find the purest white cow there is, and that's one.
It's a red cow.
It's a red cow.
Is it a red or white?
Yeah,
red heifer.
Cow.
Red heifer.
So it has to be
4 of them. They just sent 4.
What?
Yeah, it's a red heifer.
4 perfect red heifers.
Replicated?
Not 2, not 3, 4.
Every single hair on them has to be perfected red. Not one brown, not one white. It's the red heifers.
Not replicated.
No, not replicated.
No, I don't think so.
At least
you got 4 already? Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's that. When you talked about the 2 cows, I remember hearing in Hebrew they're looking for that special cow in order for their revelation to begin.
From what I've studied about the Bible, that everything repeats itself. It's constant.
Oh yeah.
Constantly repeating itself. It's either there's a divine purpose behind that, or they got bored and couldn't get up creative enough to add to it. But I go back to Joseph and storing up the storehouses, and doing the right thing. Well, why do you think Mormons are really big? I'm not Mormon, but I know they're really big on prepping. and getting ready and keeping up the storehouses, because if you are going to have to go into these times, or you know somebody that will, be ready.
I'm glad you brought that up. There are more and more prepper type people that follow or at least are following now revelations. Like they
Yes.
may not be necessarily religious, but they are
Yeah.
definitely not believers of any sort. I'd say 99.9, and that is one of the things they look at the signs, and it's for them it's a type of truther type.
It is.
Like, well, it's not necessarily the religion; it's about the cycle of it happening over and over.
It is a cycle. Yes,
Yeah.
it is definitely.
Well, a lot of people, I guess you could put a lot of people in the category of just watching the 3D world fall to crap and deciding to go off grid and do their own thing.
Yep.
Go back to farming, go back to raising crops, and just let me just take care of myself, because the government is not trustworthy, especially after the pandemic, so to speak.
And Jen, sorry, I wasn't paying attention at the time. It's 2:50 here.
Oh.
So we went a little more than 10 minutes. I apologize. Sorry about that.
Okay,
Just
no, you're fine. It's good.
You're fired.
Says the clock.
Fired.
Says the clock keeper right there.
fourth time losing time. Just saying.
Hey,
Yeah.
all right. Would you rather lose time or your mind?
Either one.
I think I lost.
I've lost them both.
Before.
Yeah.
Left them in the closet.
Well, I think this was pretty productive today.
Yeah, even if we're all over the place, I'm okay with that, because I like it being spirit led, because one thing leads you to another.
Right, exactly. And we always come back to each other's things. They all tie together somewhat. That's what's cool.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow's roundtable. Yeah.
Tomorrow's roundtable.
What
Different
did you know
timeline.
that?
Sorry.
Different timeline. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. I would like to continue this, because we've got a long way to go.
Oh yeah. Oh well, let's keep going then.
Let's keep
Well,
going.
I mean, what have we already covered and what needs to be covered? So, and then we're.
Well,
I guess
What
we
have
should
we
ask.
revealed and not revealed?
What is it, Jay?
What have we revealed and not revealed?
Well, I don't know what is
Oh.
in Revelation in order to reveal. I mean, maybe I should study that.
I don't know that we've got our fingers set on have answered and solved a bunch of mysteries. We've just piqued the interest of where it could go.
I mean, if you go down the timelines of is it in order? Why isn't it order? And this is why it overlaps. And this is the what do they call the name? I have it here. It's like a timeline, the order of visitation.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Even if you, that's just it. I think even though it's one of the, what is it, the last book in the Bible, if I remember right, and it touches everything throughout, not just the Bible, the holy books. It touches a lot of the Apocrypha. I mean, I'd like to maybe tie some of the Apocrypha in more. We can connect them somehow, and any of the books, any of the religions, how we can tie them in to similarities.
or maybe even any of the prophecies, which should also tie into Revelation as well.
Well, do you also know? Sorry, John. I'm so sorry. It seems
No,
like
it's okay. It's okay. There's a little bit of a time delay, so it's off a little bit. I'm going to start tackling. I've done a little bit, but I'm going to dive head deep into Native American final prophecy is where I'm going to go next. Just to find some similarities.
I went down the Hindu religion for a little bit. I got to tell you, it depends on the god. There's hundreds of thousands of gods. I'm going to walk away from it because there is just too much there for my understanding to narrow it down with so many gods without complete understanding. So I'm gonna back off of that one myself.
That's okay. Native American, I mean, there's so many different tribes too. Right. And I won't dive into all of them, but I'll pick some of the top big ones and focus on what they find similarities or differences and see if it ties into man-made religion.
Okay.
what just I just saw that I think every lifetime had their own revelations. Like, for example, didn't we talk about Petra ascending?
Right.
Did they
Mhm.
go through a revelation where some ascended and some didn't? Did they do their revelation? I mean, how many civilizations disappeared and nobody knows where they went?
Right.
So is this maybe a localized
Well,
thing? I'm sorry, Jen?
well, I believe that just the Bible itself is still pretty young. I don't think that you could it doesn't make up for tens of thousands of generations of whatever,
Right.
off-worlder or not,
Sumerian, the
has
whole bit.
every
Yeah.
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 This,
I mean, the
we're still
Sumerians
very
have one.
young.
Sumerians,
Yeah,
She froze.
Fly.
she's frozen. All right.
Yep, she's
Well,
done.
she's done. All right. All right, guys. Well,
At least
we'll
it's
just
not
keep
really a bad photo of her. Could have been much worse.
because
you know.
she's just thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all good.
Okay.
She's looking for Magog.
Well, if you're going to do oracles, Jen, I am going
Yeah.
to bow out. Bow out. I have a my doggy here.
Yeah.
You know, she's got infections.
Aw.
Well, like we've been trying a couple different things, and
Yeah.
right now she is like her skin is red and she's sitting here whining because she's itchy. Anyway,
Aw.
we put this medication on her, and look, it's nothing's helping, it seems, but she's
Yeah,
over
love
here
her
sitting
heart.
there whining. So I'm going to go ahead and do that if y'all
That's
don't
fine.
mind.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. I
All right,
love you.
guys. All right, thank
All
you,
right.
Jen. Thanks, everyone. Well, Dennis left, or he
Thank
got
you.
popped out.
Yeah, he bailed on us. He's out.
Okay. All right, love you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, sweetheart. Okay, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll do your oracles and I'll let you go. I'm going to do a show Friday night, just answering questions. It can be today's topic. It could be on anything, whatever you want to do. And we'll continue to deep dive into Revelation. We're not, Revelation is very hard and it's open to interpretation and it's open to your own spiritual path. So that's just our opinion. If it doesn't resonate, doesn't sit right with you, it's okay, darlings. You do you, boo. All right. And it's okay, Nadia. I got you, honey. We'll do the show Friday night. I'm gonna plan it. If they want, I'll talk to them. I talk to them every day. So if they want to pop in, I can send them a link for it. If not, I'll just pull cards. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll do your oracles. And like I said, we will continue to do Revelation. We may not come up with exact answers because it's not our job to. You got to work on you. And if it sets a certain way for you, then that's your path and that's your journey. And that's good. It's good. Don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself mercy and grace. Okay. All right, guys, let's get started here. Angel of Abundance Oracle today. I think we've had this one too. Sever the vows of poverty. All right. Dear one, there's no need to suffer or sacrifice. Hold the intention of undoing any vows of poverty or self-denial that you may have made, consciously or unconsciously, in any lifetime. As you do so, all effects of those vows will be undone for everyone involved in all directions of time. So just make sure that if you took a vow in a previous life or a contract that you were going to be poor, you say, no more, honey. I am abundant in everything that I do. And that's not just financially, that's in my health and my spirituality, emotional health. It's everything. All right. Love. Okay. Who's our archangel today and can I pronounce it? Yeah, we've had her before. She's beautiful. Archangel Garcissa. All right. All right. Create a solid spiritual foundation. Be in service to the planet. And we love our Gaia. Okay. So this one is, when you receive this card, it suggests that you're ready to move forward on your ascension path. It reminds you to strengthen your Earth Star chakra by walking, spiritual reading, meditation, chanting, or your own particular spiritual discipline. So whatever it is that sits right with you, prayer, whatever. Ask Archangel Gursissa to help you sink roots deep into hollow earth. Wow, we're going to go down to Shambhala so that you can access wisdom and knowledge. All right. Well, and if I butchered her name, I apologize. You know how I am with that. This whole Southern girl just reads it and pronounces it. All right. Sacred Forest Oracle. So who comes in today? Oh, it won't be long. It'll actually be this season. Spirit Guardian of Autumn. That means letting go of things. All right. Relinquish control and let spirit take over. You don't need to do everything yourself. Release whatever in life doesn't serve you. Clutter clear your life. Simply open your heart, let go, and allow spirit to help and support you. Basically, let go and don't be a control freak. And I can be. I have learned a lot and I've come a long way, but it's still possible. All right. And our final ones today are our chakras. Let's see what we came up with. First one we pulled. Nope, that wasn't the first one. That was the second one. First one we pulled was service, being in service to others. Now, according to the book, I did start reading out of the book. That way you can get an idea of what the author wants you to take away, and then you can decide if it sits right with you. Service. The energy here is one of manifesting through being of service. This card indicates a steadfast ability to stay the course emotionally and create something sustainable and lasting. It can also bring to light not seeing or valuing what you have. So it may end up, if you can be of service not only to yourself, but at others, it'll help you have more gratitude, basically. Okay. The next one, this is really cool. Discovery. All right. What do they say about discovery? In the past, you may not have been fully prepared to face facts. Ooh. Being willing to take the journey, regardless of the outcome, will prove rewarding. Get ready to carry a commitment through to completion. Well, all right. Don't quit now. Motivate yourself. All right. Your final card today, guys. This is beautiful. And I think the whole round table and everyone here and watching later is on this as well. And that is quest. We are on a quest. All right. It's a color blue. Navy combines the blue of communication with the darkness of the unknown, allowing us to discover the truth. There is bravery here and an ability to face the truth head on. Well, a lot of us are dealing with that through this journey through revelation and wherever else it ends up taking us, because part of our truth is realizing we've been lied to and coming out of that. All the misconceptions that were man-made. Okay. All right, guys, those are your oracles for today. Like I said, thank you for joining us. It's wonderful. If you've got questions and you want to bring them on Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll do what we can to answer them. Okay. Y'all take care and be blessed, love and lights and all that good stuff. I love you, love yourself, love one another, and take care of yourself. And I'll see you Friday night, okay? Love you. Blessings, blessings. Have a blessed day, guys. You're very welcome.